So the 2023-24 Edmonton Oilers season is now in progress. It's underway. And it's not off to nearly the kind of start that Edmonton Oilers fans have become accustomed to over the past several years. Let's just say that. Let's put it lightly. So in the season opener at Vancouver, the team lost 7-1. And then a few nights later in Edmonton, in the Edmonton Oilers home opener, and the Edmonton Oilers have not lost a home opener for a very long time. Actually, I think even going back into like the so-called decade of darkness, it's been quite a long time since the Edmonton Oilers had lost a home opener. But they did. They lost it to the same team again, the Vancouver Canucks. This time 4-3. Much closer game in pretty much every respect. But the team that's supposed to be contending for the Stanley Cup this year opens with 2 straight losses, and a lot of fans are pretty mad. Now, as I sit down to record this, the date is October 17th, 2023. The Edmonton Oilers do play the Nashville Predators tonight. I think there's a reasonably good chance that they'll get back on their horse and win that game. But this is definitely not the kind of start that this team This is not the kind of start that this team needs, not the kind of start that this team's fans have come to expect of it. And there was something that one of the commentators said on Saturday night that really kind of resonated to me. I mean, not just in terms of the way that the team was playing that night, but arguably, maybe in general. They just said that right now, the team that wants it more is the team that's winning. And I think at that point, the score actually was 3-2. The Oilers did come back and tie it, but then they gave up. They gave up the winning goal, and that was the end of the game. But I think that commentator was absolutely right, and I don't think it was just then. I think it was a matter of, I think it was also an issue at the key junctures of the last couple of seasons. Now, the 21-22 season, I was mostly okay with the way that ended. I mean, a sweep in the conference finals. Not exactly what you want a team with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to do, but they went to the conference finals, which was much further than they had made it for a good long time before that. But then you get into 2022-23, and you expect the team to take a step forward and go a little bit further, go to the conference final, and then hopefully win it. At least have a stronger showing, I should say, in the conference final than they had the previous time, but you expect them to be there. You expect them to be there, and you definitely hope that they're going to win, but you expect them to at least make it a long season. But instead, they lost in the second round of the playoffs, to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, a team that they have pretty much just about owned. Like, for the entirety of their existence in this league, the Edmonton Oilers have pretty much owned the Golden Knights. But there's only one playoff series between the two teams. And Vegas won that. And they went on to win the Stanley Cup. And there's a lot that people can say about the Las Vegas Golden Knights and the salary cap and how far they were over. I mean, I think it was something like $14 million. Is the number that comes to mind for me. And that seems like that is a pretty big advantage. Even if you're playing a team that has Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and other great players like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman and Evan Bouchard, who has been absolutely just monstrous for the last 2 years, an absolute beast for this team. $14 million is still a pretty big advantage. And last year, in that series with the Oilers, in the playoffs overall, that team was the Las Vegas Golden Knights. But, it isn't exactly as if, let's look at one player in particular. I think you're not going to have a hard time guessing who it's going to be. Let's look at one player in particular. Let's take a look at Connor McDavid. And you know what? Maybe the Edmonton Oilers didn't get to eat at that table last year. But you know what? Connor McDavid's been eating. Connor McDavid has been eating pretty good. I mean, yeah, the team hasn't won a Stanley Cup with him yet. Hasn't won a conference championship with him just yet. But McDavid himself, yeah, he's been eating. I mean, last year he won the Rocket Richard. You know, he's won multiple Art Ross trophies. He's won multiple Hart trophies. Connor McDavid has been eating. And so this idea that Connor McDavid needs to get hungry for this team to have success, I don't really think that washes. I don't think that Connor McDavid is hungry because Connor McDavid has been eating. And regardless of how these first 2 games of the season have gone, there is no indication that that's going to change. So I don't think that Connor McDavid needs to get hungry. I think that Connor McDavid needs to get greedy. And I think that reasonably, any player that wants to win the Stanley Cup has to get a little bit greedy. There's 32 teams in the NHL. The Stanley Cup is only awarded each year to one of them. To just one. So that means that 31 teams are going to come to the table and only one team is going to eat. Or at the very least, they are definitely going to eat more than their fill. Now, I'm sure there are quite a few people out there who might say to who might want to say to me, it's like, oh, well, you know, you want Connor McDavid to get greedy. You know, you want him to go out and be a little bit more ruthless in pursuit of the thing that he and everybody else wants. You know, it's almost like you're saying that Connor McDavid should embrace being a villain. Yes. Yeah, you know what? I think at a certain point of a player's career, especially a player like Connor McDavid, and a player like Leon Draisaitl also, I think that at a certain point, you know, you are one way or another, you are going to be somebody's villain. Yeah, you're going to be somebody's hero, but you're also going to be somebody's villain. And unfortunately, I think that there are a lot more fans out there that are going to look at you as a villain, look at you as their villain, than look at you as their hero. You know what? Maybe it's time to roll with that. Yeah, I do kind of feel like Vancouver Canucks fans probably would have felt pretty victimized if Connor McDavid had walked into their building and hammered out a hat trick and left with the W. Well, shucks. I feel like maybe you might have to hurt some feelings to win the Stanley Cup. Just kind of is what it is. You know, guys like Mike Modano, you know, they definitely didn't seem to mind rolling through Edmonton and hurting some feelings on their way to a Stanley Cup. Jason Arnott, when he was with the New Jersey Devils after he had been traded there from Edmonton, didn't seem to feel too badly about coming through Edmonton and hurting some feelings on his way to a Stanley Cup. So at this point, what can you really say but just kind of look at it and say, you know, it's fair. It's the way that these things are done. So I feel like, you know what, maybe then, with all of that in mind, maybe it is time for Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl to find their inner gangster and go out and just rob this league. God knows they got the firepower to do it. I do think at this point they've got the supporting cast to do it. I think that the gang's all there. But, you know, not to belabor a metaphor, I think that maybe it's time for them to go out, stick a gun in the mouth of this league, and take what they want. And just take it. Because whether anybody likes it or not, at the end of the day, that's the only way that you win the Stanley Cup. It's not given to you. You have to go out and take it. And if you're going to go out and take it, you're going to have to get a little bit greedy. It's time. I'm sure there are plenty of fans in this league, plenty of fans of this team that have gotten pretty attached to the idea of nice guy Connor. But I think that's run its course. I think it's time to be a little less nice. I think it's time to be a little bit more greedy. It is time.